This video will answer all of your questions related to Castoris. Castoris will be a 5-star quantum character following the Path of Remembrance. She will release in the first half of the patch 3.2. As you guys already know, Castoris animations are light cutscenes. Her animations alone made her unskippable for me. As much as the fanbase hates power creep, Castoris will power creep out of other characters in terms of animations and kits. Let me know about your thoughts in the comments section. If you want to pull Castoris, make sure to top up with lootbar.gg, which lets you save up to 23% on every top up. Wondering how it works? Let's buy some shreds right now. No complex steps are needed either. Just enter your UID and server, and you're set to enjoy your new character. Lootbar.gg is a trusted, safe platform because of their cooperation with Hoyoverse's routing partners. With hundreds of thousands of happy users and thousands of positive reviews, it's no wonder that many top content creators are using it. So don't miss out on these insane savings and get a huge discount on your desired character through my link in the description. Keep in mind that all this information is based on version 1 of her kit, so they can make changes in her kit before her official release. So make sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated on Castorice's kit changes. These are going to be her base stats. These are her bonus traces. And these are the materials that you will need to pre-farm for Castoris. Let's take an overview of this character's kit. She will be able to deal insane amount damage and provide support to her team. Her damage will mainly scale with her max HP. She will be able to increase her damage by draining a lot of her team's HP. Her Memosprite will also play a major role in her overall damage output, and her dragon will also be able to protect and heal the team. She can provide resistance penetration, and most importantly, she can revive your team by just getting her in your account. Without even using her in your team, she can revive your team. I think they overdid it this time. No support character in HSR has this type of overpowered global passive that can change the whole gameplay experience just by pulling a character. I don't want to hype this up too much as her kit might get nerfed in my opinion. In a nutshell, this is how Castoris' kit will work. She will sacrifice her team's HP to summon her dragon, and then she will deal insane amounts of damage with the help of her dragon. Now let's cover the details of her kit. Her basic attack will deal quantum damage equal to 50% of her max HP to one enemy. Her normal skill will drain 40% HP from all her allies and deal quantum damage to a single target and nearby enemies based on HP. You might be wondering, where the hell is this HP even going? So now I will try to explain the key mechanic of her talent, which is called the Stamen Nova. Basically, all the drained HP will go into Stamen Nova. Take Stamen Nova as a jar, and you will have to fill it with drained HP in order to get her ultimate. Stamen Nova maximum capacity will depend on your team's levels. It will be equal to the sum of all team members' levels multiplied by 100, which will be equal to 32,000 for maxed out team. So you will need 32,000 of drained HP to fill her Nova Stamen. Gaining Stamen, Nova will also boost Castoris and her dragon's damage, which can be stacked for 3 times for 3 turns. Her talent also includes her Revive ability. Allies which receive a killing blow enter a state called the Lunar Cocoon state. Basically, if you heal or give shield to these allies before their second turn, they can stay alive, otherwise, they will die at their second turn. This revive can be used only once per battle. After using her ultimate, she gains enhanced skill, and she will summon her dragon. After being summoned, her dragon will use domain expansion to make a territory called the Lost Neverland, and it will take turn immediately. This territory will increase your allies' damage and resistance penetration. After Dead Dragon acts 3 times or when its HP is 0, it blows up and dispels the territory. When the dragon is on the field, Castorice will stop gathering Stamen Nova. Her enhanced skill deals quantum damage through a joint attack from Castoris and her dragon. This enhanced skill will drain 50% HP from her allies. This consumed HP will go to the dragon's HP instead of the Stamen Nova. After she uses her technique, she creates a field in which no enemy can touch her, and when she uses her attack, all the nearby enemies will enter the battle. After entering the battle, her dragon will be summoned with 50% HP of the max Stamen Nova. Allies' HP will be reduced by 40%, and Stamen Nova will get filled up to 30%, which should also be 40% in my opinion. Now let's move on to her Memosprite's skills. Its first skill deals small amount of quantum damage to all enemies. Its second skill will consume its own HP to deal quantum damage. When the dragon's HP is lower than or equal to 25%, using this ability will trigger his talent, which will deal 6 instances of damage to a random enemy. All these skills will scale with different amounts of Castoris' HP. Now let's move on to its talents. Through the first talent, the dragon will be able to protect all allies from dying by taking the damage for them. according to its second talent. When the dragon is summoned on the field, the team's damage is increased by 10% lasting for 2 turns. Now let's discuss the bonus abilities. First, bonus ability heals all allies by 10% plus 250 whenever her Memosprite exits from the field. According to second bonus ability, when her Memosprite is not on the field, healing allies will count for the Stamen Nova. If the dragon is present on field, the extra healing will restore the HP from Memosprite. But this HP restoration cannot restore more than 15% of the Stamen Nova. Now let's move on to her Eidolons. E1 will increase the damage of the dragon's second skill to an insane amount. Her Eidolon 2 is even more insane. According to E2, summoning the dragon will give her special kind of stacks which will increase her enhanced skill damage. She will not drain HP and she will immediately take action. So an E2 Castorice will be very broken. E4 will increase the healing received by allies. E6 will increase the quantum resistance penetration. Now let's move on to her best Lightcones. Her signature Lightcone will obviously be her best in slot. This Lightcone is also very broken as it will increase her HP, provides defense ignore and action advance to Castorice. It increases the wearer's max HP by 30%. When the wearer or their Memosprite loses HP during their own turn, the wearer gains Death Flower, which allows the wearer and their Memosprite to ignore 24% of the target's defense when dealing damage, lasting for 2 turns. When the wearer's Memosprite disappears, it advances the wearer's action by 12%. This effect can only trigger up to 1 time, and the trigger count resets every time the wearer uses ultimate. Her best 4-star Lightcone will be Sweat, now Cry Less, which can be obtained from the pass. It will increase her crit rate, boost her damage. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%. When the wearer's Memosprite is on the field, increases the damage dealt by the wearer and their Memosprite by 24%. There are very few options in case of her Lightcone, so I recommend pulling for her Lightcone. We are facing the same situations we faced on Acheron release. Rest of the Lightcones are just okay in my opinion. The only thing good about Aglia's signature Lightcone will be its crit rate. Other than that, she doesn't really need anything from her Lightcone. So you should be using Aglia's Lightcone on Aglia to utilize its full potential. Then we have the Herta Shop's Lightcone. It will just increase the team's damage by 8% for 3 turns. There is nothing Castoris can truly benefit from these 2 Lightcones in my opinion. Feel free to give your thoughts in the comments. Now let's discuss about her best main stats and substats. For her best main stats, use crit rate or crit damage body. Use crit damage body if you are using Poet Morning set for creating a better balance between crit rate and crit damage. Use HP boots, quantum damage sphere, and HP rope. For the substats, focus on getting crit rate, crit damage, and HP. For the best relics, use the Poet Morning set. It will give her quantum damage and it will increase her crit rate by an insane amount. Its 2-piece set increases quantum damage by 10%. Its 4-piece set decreases the wearer's speed by 8%. Before entering battle, if the wearer's speed is lower than 110 or 95, increases the wearer's crit rate by 20% or 32% respectively. This effect applies to the wearer's Memosprite. You can also use the Genius of Brilliant Stars set. It will give her quantum damage and defense ignore. Its 2-piece set increases quantum damage by 10%. According to the 4-piece set, when the wearer deals damage to the target enemy, ignores 10% defense. If the target enemy has quantum weakness, the wearer additionally ignores 10% defense. If you don't have good stats on these sets, you can use Longevous Disciple set temporarily. It will increase Castorice's HP and crit rate. Its 2-piece set increases max HP by 12%. According to its 4-piece set. When the wearer is hit or has their HP consumed by an ally or themselves, their crit rate increases by 8% for 2 turns and up to 2 stacks. For her best ornament set, you can use the Bone Collection set, which really suits her. It will basically increase her HP and crit damage. It increases the wearer's max HP by 12%. When the wearer's max HP is 5,000 or higher, increases the wearers and their Memosprite's crit damage by 28%. Another great option would be the Wondrous set, as it will give her insane amount of crit damage. It increases the wearer's crit damage by 16%. When a target summoned by the wearer is on the field, crit damage additionally increases by 32%. For her best teams, you can use her with Sunday, Tribi, and a good healer, for example, Lingsha Luocha or Hua Hua. As we already know, Sunday is a dedicated Memosprite support. He will be able to increase the damage, crit rate, and crit damage of Castoris. Not to mention, he will also be able to action advance both Castoris and her dragon. She will not be able to utilize the energy regeneration from Sunday's ult. Tribi will give resistance penetration to the team. She will also make the enemies take more damage during her ultimate zone, and she will also be dealing coordinated attacks. To make this team more free-to-play friendly, you can use Remembrance Trailblazer, and you can also use Gallagher instead of a 5-star healer. Remembrance Trailblazer will not only action advance and provide decent amount of damage, but it will also increase the crit damage of all allies through Mem's talent. E1 RMC will also be able to increase Castoris and her dragon's crit rate by 10%. You can also use her in dual DPS teams by using Maide, Blade, or Jingliu. You can also use Ruin Mei for her resistance penetration and damage buff. That's it for our guide. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.